is up, guys? Welcome to the Transparency.
Listen, folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, have been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
That's truly for the win.
Bella will be joining me tonight.
Disc that I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay? They all knew about it.
What's up, Bella? How are you?
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
These noise complaints. What is up, guys? Welcome to the Transparency. How you doing, Bella?
I'm
Good to
good.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, good. Yep, we can hear you now.
Thank you. What a great intro.
Oh, thanks. Like that.
Hi, everybody.
Look at how high this hair is tonight.
What happened? I can't hear you. These why?
Oh, you can't? I said, look at
I
how
think
high
it's
this. Oh, okay.
your high bun. You look cute.
You know how high that is.
Do I
again,
sound really bad?
No.
I think it's like the reverb. Really bizarre. Do I sound okay, you guys? Okay. Talk, Lana. Let me hear you.
Well, it's just been a eventful past couple days with the prep of the Brian Colbert. My notes say that there was an 8-hour hearing today for the folks out in Idaho. Not sure if that's accurate, maybe off a couple hours, but so we been busy with that. Added on a new case to take a look at here in the Karen Reed case, and we got some documents. What do you think so far about this case?
About the Reed case?
Yeah, like what
well,
do you think about like the website that they have over there that they want to pass out all this information?
Okay, you want me to talk about that? So, in order to get these documents, you know, we're really used to that here, putting in a FOIA request or doing those kinds of things. So, I called Canton PD, and they're like, and talked to the record department, and they were just like, "Sorry, you gotta talk to the DA." They gave me the DA. That's where we're sending everything. That's fair. Okay. And I won't. You know, they kind of told me a lot of things were under wraps and they weren't releasing things because it's an active case. But we know we've dealt with active cases before, how that works. And I called the DA and got their email and then emailed them. And obviously, they wrote back. They were kind enough to supply what you see here on the screen. But they said I could find hundreds of other documents because obviously it's open to the public on the website.
Mhm.
Now, we're spoiled with the Idaho website, right, guys? I mean, if anyone's been there, if you haven't, let me tell you, we are spoiled. Hello, are we spoiled?
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, they're trying to be transparent, updating the website with anything once, the state or the defense puts a motion in, it's going right there. You can get it. But yeah, definitely not the same over there in the Boston area. But hey, it is what it is. We are dealing with
Don't call it Boston.
I say the
Canton.
Boston. I said the Boston area.
Not even those from Boston would know, right? Boston's small, right? So it's Canton, right? But just shout out to, we just want to say hi to the defense team, Karen's defense team, because they are amazing. We love good litigators here, right?
Absolutely. People
There's
that
an art to
Yes.
litigating,
Mhm.
and it's a creative endeavor, right? Because you have to pivot. And if you guys want to see some amazing litigators, look
Oh yeah,
at
because
Alan Jackson and his team.
yeah, and actually I'm gonna pull a clip up here really quick that courtesy of Court TV, just a little clip here.
Okay.
Because they're getting gaslit like crazy by
Yes.
the
The
state.
DA isn't.
Yeah, it's that, I think it's that obvious, but I went ahead and took a lot of time over the past 48 hours to really look at what's out there, and then really look at the area, the mapping of the area, and these timestamps that they want to say certain things happen. But there's a lot of questions that I'm over here like, for one, how about this, guys? Can somebody answer this? How did John O'Keefe get to the bars that night? We have him walking into his first establishment at 7:41, or I'm sorry, so maybe 7:28, 7:41. I like to be on the money. He was on that camera at 7:37 p.m. How did he get there though? Did he drive his vehicle? Did he go with a friend? Did he get, did he Uber? And here we go, Uber. No, I'm just saying, So the reason I asked that is because obviously Karen meets him there. And so she drove. And was that always the plan? Was it always the plan that day that that's how things were going to roll? Is there seriously a question on who gave John a ride to the party? Oh, that's a very serious question, yes. Is there seriously a question on who gave John a ride to the party? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have and I'll actually explain to that why. So here we go. They said, well, Karen did. Karen gave John the ride, right? Well, I want to show you guys something. So my question is when we were reading through these, and Belle, if you want to go ahead and just start reading just to save kind of my voice for those that have not been following. Right.
Yeah, I'm going to be reading to save her voice.
Thank you.
She was in the zone last night, huh? 7 hours there?
Yeah, because
It was good.
There's something that I want to point out, which is, if you just want to go ahead, that way that people can, this is the state's version of events. Do you need me to scroll down?
Yeah, do you want me to read it? Okay.
I want the certain dates on here so I can just go to the.
Okay, so then tell me when to stop because I know you're going to have, it's not going to be like a read through, right? You're
Yeah, no, it's
going
not
to
a
want to
read-through.
stop. Yeah. So just interrupt me.
So, go right here. Go to Um, yeah, right there.
And my allergies, you guys have to apologize for sniffling. My allergies are crazy right now. So you want me to start there? Okay.
Mhm.
Later that morning, the Massachusetts State Police Detective Unit of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office was notified and responded to the scene as well. Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri, I'm going to butcher this, Yakhenik, were among the troopers who responded to the scene and began interviewing witnesses. They first spoke with Mrs. McCabe. Miss McCabe indicated that she and some friends were at the Waterfall Bar and Grill the evening of January 28th. She arrived with her husband Matthew at approximately 9 p.m. At approximately 11 p.m., Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed arrived at the waterfall together. Miss McCabe stated that Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed have been in a
In a
relationship, in a dating relationship for approximately 2 years, and that Miss Reed stayed at Mr. O'Keefe's house most nights. Miss McCabe observed Miss Reed walk into the bar holding a glass cup from C.F. McCarthy's with a clear liquid inside that she believed was a vodka soda drink. Miss Reed had entered the waterfall with the glass inside her coat. Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed had been at C.F. McCarthy's, a bar across the street from the waterfall, prior to coming to the waterfall. Miss McCabe observed Mr. O'Keefe to be wearing a baseball hat,
Okay, stop right
jeans.
there. Can you repeat what he was wearing?
Okay. So, Mr. O'Keefe, who's the victim for anyone who doesn't know this case, he was wearing a baseball hat, jeans, and sneakers.
You said a baseball hat, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We will find out later. What does it have on it?
It has the American flag on it. This would be the first thing that I noticed that was not on John O'Keefe. It was not on his person. This hat was not at the scene. Okay. If he got hit by a car, according to their version of events, he has this cap on the whole night on surveillance, and then he is laying on the side of the road. But the thing that you can't find is his hat. Go on.
She stated that the defendant and the victim appeared to be in a good mood and did not observe any arguing between the two throughout the course of the evening.
Oh,
She further described the atmosphere within the bar as friendly, with no arguments amongst any of the patrons. This description of the group and the atmosphere within the bar and between the defendant and the victim was consistent with each of the witnesses present that the troopers interviewed throughout the course of their investigation. As the bar began to close down, everyone within their group was invited back to 34 Fairview Road, the residence of Miss McCabe's sister, Nicole Albert, and her husband, Brian. She observed Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed to leave the waterfall together.
now I will say that technically, if you want to be technical, Karen walked out with the two females on camera in the first minute, like 12:10, and then at 12:11 a.m. Your victim is then walking out after. So to be technical,
Continue.
yeah.
As Miss McCabe was arriving at her vehicle, she received a text message from Mr. O'Keefe asking where to at 12:14 a.m.
Okay, one second there. So when she's arriving at her vehicle, as in that she is walking up to her vehicle to get into her vehicle to leave the waterfall. Isn't that correct?
Yes. So they
Just so everybody can
so
understand that when she's saying this. Go ahead.
so far 12:10 they observe Miss Reed walking out.
Mm-hmm.
12:11
Mm-hmm.
Mr. O'Keefe walks out, and here we are approximately 3 or 4 minutes
Well,
after.
she's saying that she's saying that McCabe is arriving at her vehicle. She received a text message from Mr. O'Keefe saying where to, but she doesn't write anything back for 4 minutes to say that address. So was
Okay,
she
well,
was
I
she the
didn't get to
driver?
that part yet.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay, but you want to say that after I do it? Okay, so that was at 12:14 a.m. and then Miss McCabe replied with the address of 34 Fairview Road at 12:18 a.m.
So for everybody that is here, and I'll pull it up, that location of where they were going from the waterfall is actually 4 minute drive via Google Maps. So it does take 4 minutes to actually get there. This is a very close little area. I'll be pulling all this up, but I would think for myself, though, if I was going to be getting into my vehicle and I saw that this person needs the address, wouldn't I be giving them the address before I would start my car to then leave? So it's interesting to me of the 4 minute delay in that. Go on.
Mr. O'Keefe called Miss McCabe to ask more specifically where the house was located on Fairview. While inside the residence following her arrival there, Miss McCabe observed a black SUV consistent with Miss Reed's vehicle, a 2021 black Lexus SUV, arrive in front of the residence from her vantage point at the front of the home. Miss McCabe texted Mr. O'Keefe at 12:31 a.m. stating, "Hello." Scroll.
Oopsies.
And again at 12:40 a.m. "Pull up behind me," referencing her vehicle's parking spot within the driveway to the home, located at the right side of the property if you're looking at the residence from the street. Miss McCabe then observed the black SUV move from its initial place where it had stopped to the street near the driveway and proceed to the left side of the property where Mr. O'Keefe's body was subsequently discovered later in the morning. At 12:45 a.m., Miss McCabe texted Mr. O'Keefe again, "Hello," and then observed the black SUV drive away from the home. At approximately 4:53 a.m., Miss McCabe stated that she received a phone call from Miss Reed looking for Mr. O'Keefe. The defendant sounded distraught over the phone and drove over to Miss McCabe's home. The
I'm
defendant,
gonna stop you right there. I just want to share something really quick.
I do too, I'd be so nosy.
There you go. Just want you guys to see the front of this house really quick. Something that I noticed, and I want you guys to notice it too. See those big old trees next to the front door? This is the house that they went to. It is my personal opinion that those would, if you're not looking out and standing right in that doorway, you're going to be able to just see straight out. That is going to, I guess you could say, your vision to the right, to the left. You're not going to be able to see around those. You're going to have to like get out a little bit to be able to see around those. And I'm not sure if anybody's ever talked about that, but it is something that I noticed with this house, that your view is definitely going to be obstructed, in my opinion. If in fact, like I've not physically been to this house, I will be there soon. But from looking at it from this angle, you would be definitely obstructed to see where they're going to be talking about here coming up. But I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that. Again, we're dealing with some people that have been knowing about this case for a lot longer of a period of time, and some people that are just hearing about it. So that's why this is the intro that I'm doing for people to see these documents. Here we go.
Exactly, Josh. There's a few things that are just really odd about what happened with the Alberts after, and that's one of the. That's one of them.
They're
And
out
yeah,
there.
and YB So Nosy was saying, and anyone that has big dogs, those are Ridgebacks, that would be something, and they would protect their owner. If someone came in here and got into a fight with me, you better believe he is going to bite. So it's my responsibility to make sure that doesn't happen, or that person's responsibility to not come get into a fight. I don't know, however you want to take it. But that is not, in my opinion, only. And do you have the pictures? I could send them to you if you want to show them.
Yeah, just go ahead and do it. I'll put them up here in a second.
I'll email you them. They're not from getting hit. We'll explain also.
We'll get all of that.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Okay.
and continue.
Okay. Where would you like me to start?
Where did you leave off there?
I think I did the 533. I think the defendant told. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, you guys. Again, for anyone coming in, I have allergies like really, really bad right now.
Knock it off.
Gosh darn
Ready?
it. Yeah, hold on. Okay. Right there. Stop. Go down one sentence. Okay. The defendant sounded distraught over the phone and drove over to Miss McCabe's home. The defendant told Miss McCabe that she last remembered seeing the victim at the Waterfall bar. Miss McCabe then informed the defendant that she observed the defendant and the victim leave the bar together.
So right there, I just want to say that that's where my first question comes in after, or I should say my second question came in, which was this whole initial thing of saying that Karen was like, well, the last time that I saw him, I remember last time I saw him was that's what I remember, is at the waterfall. Now, is that truly what she said, or is that what they're saying she said? Okay.
I have seen an interview with her where she has said that. Okay, that she did go there. The defendant told, that she blah, blah, blah. Okay, there. Miss McCabe also later informed the defendant that she had seen them in Miss Reed's vehicle in front of the home on Fairview. The defendant also informed Miss McCabe that she and the victim had gotten into an argument the last time that she had seen him. Shortly after the defendant arrived at Miss McCabe's home, Miss Carrie Roberts arrived there as well as she. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to actually back us up for a second. Okay. Right here, I want everybody to know that what Miss McCabe here is saying is that when she texted at 12:31 a.m. and stating like, hello, okay, it would have only taken if Karen and, sorry, my stuff's all getting frozen. If Karen and John go straight there, okay, it's a 4 to 5 minute drive. Now, the thing I want to point out is when they left the bar to go to the second bar, they left at 10:40 p.m. on surveillance camera. Can you mute yourself? They left at 10:40 p.m. At McCarthy's, and then they literally just had to cross over the street and should have been at the waterfall within just a couple minutes. Something that has always just in the last 48 hours really bothered me is the 15 minutes that it took them to literally leave and walk out the one bar and then to literally walk in the door of the other bar. When they left to, go to this party, they're leaving and all of this is happening within minutes. We're walking out at 10, 12, 10, then 12, 11. Then they're getting in a vehicle to be seen on a camera at 12:15, and then allegedly another camera at 12:17. But truth be told, the way the cameras are gonna kind of take you on this trip, if you grew up in this area, lived in this area, had been there for a hot minute, you wouldn't be going that way. I believe that you would have went a different way. And that's all happening within minutes. But literally to go from one bar, if you're bar hopping, you walk out of the one bar. Where did Karen and John go for 14 minutes? I know that might not seem like a big deal, but to me, it is a big deal because it should have just taken 2-3 minutes. What was going on? Did they have an encounter with anybody, between that bar to this bar? So I don't know if anybody's been talking about that, but for me, I want to know why it took them 14 minutes to get from the one bar to the other bar, which is literally should just take a couple of minutes, like literally a couple of minutes. Go ahead. Sorry there. So there you go.
Okay, where was I?
Right here.
Pointing to it. Get the fun one. Okay. With Miss Carrie Roberts received a phone call. Okay. Shortly after the defendant arrived at, I'm reading this over, I guess. Shortly after the defendant arrived at Miss McCabe's home, Miss Carrie Roberts arrived there as well, as she had also received phone calls from the defendant that early morning looking for the victim. Miss McCabe then drove Miss Reed's vehicle from her house back to Mr. O'Keefe's house. That's going to be One Meadow, I believe, as she was too hysterical, and Miss Roberts followed along in her own vehicle. I have a thing about women calling other women hysterical. I think it's really bizarre, but sure.
She was just hysterical.
Because it's for it comes from the Latin word, and I don't have to tell you, you can look it up, and I just feel like it's okay. While driving to Mr. O'Keefe's house, the defendant stated to Miss McCabe, "Could I have hit him?" See, look at this. Look at how they write this, you guys. That's a question.
Yeah, could I have hit him as a question?
They do not, in this written report, write the question marks on either of these two statements. So that is not, and it's also not edited right because the comma goes in the
yeah, whoever wrote this is a fucking idiot.
They don't know how to copy it. But okay, so it's a question. So could I have hit him? Did I hit him? These are not statements, okay? These are questions. Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?
Question mark. Yeah. And that's a big thing. It's a big thing.
And I feel like it's kind of normal when you don't know where your dude is and he's like, what happened last night?
That's why I think it's important when she's saying like, well, I remember like the last time I saw him was at the waterfall. That's what she allegedly, according to these people, because we haven't gotten to, Go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
So once they arrived at the home.
Okay. Miss McCabe stated that the defendant also told her about a cracked taillight on her vehicle. Once they arrived at the victim's home, the defendant had Miss McCabe look at the cracked taillight, which Miss McCabe described as the passenger side right rear taillight as cracked and missing pieces. Miss McCabe and the defendant then entered Miss Roberts' vehicle to go looking for the victim. The defendant was seated within the back passenger side while Miss Roberts drove, and Miss McCabe was seated within the front passenger seat. Miss McCabe stated that they turned onto Fairview Road from Chapman Street.
Okay. Hold on one second. Go ahead.
I should just like put my cursor there. And at the time, it was snowing heavily with the wind blowing, creating poor visibility. Was it a nor'easter, you guys? Miss McCabe, and they're famous for Miss McCabe stated that just prior to 34 Fairview, there is a cluster of trees. One second. And immediately the defendant stated that she saw the victim. This statement initially confused Miss McCabe and Miss Roberts as they were unable to see Mr. O'Keefe's body lying in the snow. Miss McCabe stated that the defendant screamed to open the door and ran directly over to the body near the cluster of trees and laid on top of him for warmth and began CPR. Miss McCabe stated that the victim was lying on his back covered with approximately 6 inches of snow, with his phone on the ground underneath him. The defendant yelled at Miss McCabe twice to Google, "How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia?" But I don't know if we'll find that to be a little bit bizarre later. Okay, so on January 29th, the troopers interviewed Mr. Matthew McCabe. Mr. McCabe indicated that he has known Mr. O'Keefe for approximately 8 years, and he had met Miss Reed a handful of times. He stated that he was at the Waterfall Bar on Saturday night and observed the victim and the defendant enter together. He observed the victim to be wearing a baseball hat with a curved visor and Miss Reed to be drinking a clear liquid.
Again, we're going to go ahead and stop there. Again, this is really important in my opinion, is that the victim was wearing a hat, a baseball hat, and his visor was, curved. And they repeated multiple times that he had this hat on, and yet nobody thinks it's crazy that his hat wouldn't be on him or by his person when they found him. Go ahead. Right here, he observed the victim to be wearing a baseball cap.
He was drinking, and Miss Reed to be drinking a clear liquid drink, possibly vodka. Mr. McCabe stated that he left the bar last from his group and was heading to his in-laws' home at 34 Fairview Road. He entered his vehicle, and his wife, Jennifer, was on the phone with the victim telling him to go to 34 Fairview.
Okay. Hold on right there. Okay, so right here, remember this now? Now we have my first huge, their own indiscretion or their own discrepancies right here. As he's saying that he entered his vehicle, okay, his wife, Jennifer, was on the phone with the victim telling him to go to 34 Fairview. Now, Jennifer said, though, that when she got to her vehicle, that I'm going to go and I'm going to put this over here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. I'm going to share this other screen with you just a second. Welcome in Hector, the projector. So I have a projection screen that we can just use whenever.
I'm so excited. Are we using Hector right now?
Yeah, I'm about to use Hector here for a second. So
Okay, well, I told you I got my own Hector the other day. I told you guys I was going to be doing it for the book reading stuff. And I think I'm going to call, should I just make Hector have a girlfriend and call it Pollyanna?
sure, why not?
Mama,
All
Mama
moving
Hen
on.
knows. Moving on.
Moving on. You can tell stories later, girl. All right. So right here, 12:14 a.m. Okay. Then she says that she doesn't text him the address, okay, until 12:18 a.m. But she says she's at the car here, and now her husband just says that when he got to the car to get in it, that she was on the phone with him. Yeah, right. That's impossible. Okay, that's impossible. So what I mean by that is in between, they say that 12:14, he says, where to? Then she waits the 4 minutes, even though she sees this, because she says she saw it as she was approaching her vehicle. She waits the 4 minutes to do this. And then I have that there is a phone call that takes place, and you're going to see that does that phone call happen? Why would, if he calls you, would then you get off the phone and then he texts you, then you're going to text him and say, so we're going to see what the order is that plays out. But do you guys see that if she said that she would have received that text at this time, did he just text her and then really fast call? But right there, that's something that just stuck out in my head, and we're going to get to it. We're going to see what's up about it. Go ahead.
You need to share it.
Oh, I don't. It's been a long day.
But you know what? If you want, I could just, yeah, it has. She's been working so hard, you guys, this whole week. It's just been like every day work. Okay. Now I have to find, it's like the big, where's Waldo? Where did I leave off?
It's right here. Of the Fairview
Right here? Right here?
Right here? It's right here. While at the Fairview residence.
Okay, Fairview residence. He observed a large dark SUV pull up in front of the house on the street. He had been looking out of the open front door through the glass storm door and described the SUV's positioning as initially parked in front of the house. Mr. McCabe looked out the window some minutes later and observed the same vehicle had moved toward the left side of the property. Minutes
Okay, so I have a question,
following.
guys. Hold on with that. I don't know, like, for me, if I'm having people over and there's people over, I've just never, I don't think, stood, I guess, right at my door in the dead of winter, had my door open because I have a storm door, and just kind of stood there like security. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my house. When you guys get there, you ring the doorbell or you knock on the door, I come and open it, I let y'all in. But this is kind of weird to me that people would just be standing at the door and looking. I mean, y'all are just standing all next to each other, like, and then we know you have an obstruction of view because so to me, that's just like someone that says that they're, working at their office in their office space, and they don't have any cameras at their house, but yet they happen to catch pictures of somebody turning on their street right when they were turning on their street, but yet you're not even in a room with windows. How's that possible?
How does that happen?
And it doesn't. But
It's like a story.
I've just never heard of such a thing. Like, I'm going to stand at my door. Everybody is, and especially when we get to the route that this that allegedly Karen took to drop off John. So go ahead.
Okay. Shoot. Okay, and describe the SUV's positioning as initially parked in front of the house. Mr. McCabe looked out the window some minutes later and observed the same vehicle had moved toward the left side. Where was I?
Towards the left side of the property.
The left side of the property. Okay. Minutes following that, he observed the same vehicle driving off down Fairview,
Does that help you?
heading in the same direction it had been facing while parked.
Okay, now I want to show you guys this because this matters. Okay. I'm going to share Google Maps, Google Earth, whatever. Let's take you guys there. Because if I want to know a case, I want to know a case. If I'm going to listen to something, I want to know what's up. So here we are. Welcome to
I
good
love
old
this application.
Canton. And we're going to take you to
Canton,
um,
Massachusetts.
34 Fairview. Oopsies. Boom. All right, this is what they're saying is, do you have a way to just be reading from like your phone document or something?
Yeah, I can absolutely. I will pull it up. What page were we on? So I know where to stop.
Oh yeah, it's God, you are sick, girl.
Yes, it's not sick, it's allergies. At night, it's horrible.
Page 6.
What is that, 6?
Page 6, yes.
Okay.
So check this out. Oh God, what did I just do?
Is it at the end of 6? Okay. Troopers also interviewed Miss Ryan Nagel. Miss Nagel's sister had been at 34 Fairview the evening of January 28th, visiting with Albert's son for his birthday. Miss Nagel stated that he had been contacted by his sister asking for a ride home. His friend drove with Mr. Nagel in the front passenger seat and his girlfriend in the rear cab of his friend's Ford F-150 pickup truck to Fairview. As the truck was driving down Cedar Crest Road, we were just on that, right? He observed a set of
that's true.
headlights of a mid-size SUV, black SUV, coming from the opposite direction.
Okay.
On
So basically, what they're saying here is this is the house. Okay. All right. And what they're saying here in this document is that Karen came from this way. How do I know that? Based on what this, can you go ahead and read that again right there? Because this is Crest. Go ahead.
Cedar Crest.
Can you?
So
Yeah.
it says, Mr. Nagel stated that he had been contacted by his sister asking for a ride home. His friend drove with Mr. Nagel in the front passenger seat and his girlfriend in the rear cab of his friend's Ford F-150 pickup truck to Fairview. As the truck was driving down Cedar Crest Road, to Fairview.
So they're coming from the truck is coming from this way allegedly. Okay. And
He observed
Karen is coming from this way because she is going to she's making a right and they make the left to come down the street, which is ta-da, Fairview Road. Okay. Now, the only thing that I don't like about this is that would mean that Karen, if this is true, and that they came right here to the house and that they kind of pulled right up over here in front of, this is what they call pulling up right in front of like the driveway right here. And that they then moved up right here by the flagpole and pulled up over here. Okay, but they were first, okay, right here. All right, and I'm telling you this right now, that is very, you better get your fat ass out of that door if you think that you're going to see something right there from that. Like you'd have to be in one of these windows to see that your obstruction, your view left or right there, it's just, you can't see that. You're not going to be able to, it's like taking away your peripheral vision because you have stuff right there.
Yeah, you're inside the door looking out the storm screen. It's bizarre.
Yes. And
Bushes in the way.
the other thing that's bizarre about this is they're, by you saying that this is the way that they went and that they're coming from that other end, that's not the way that you would, like, this is a 4-minute trip. This is, if you're from here, how are you not even knowing where you're going? That's to me is kind of like, I have a hard time with that. Like, but hey, whatever. But that, it would mean that they passed up this house in some way. It would mean that you're coming from a completely fucked up way to come to this house from where you supposedly were. Doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
As the truck was driving down Cedar Crest Road, he observed a set of headlights of a mid-sized black SUV coming from the opposite direction on Cedar Crest, and the truck he was traveling in yielded to the SUV, making a right turn onto Fairview, and then followed behind it after executing its left turn onto Fairview.
Okay. I get when someone says that they're not from an area, guys. We all have, like, I don't know, cell phones that you would just be like, and you would pump in, like, okay, where are we going? Like, where are we headed to? Oh, if my passenger is sitting there and he knows these streets, oh, here, yeah, go up there, make a left, okay, then make a right. It's going to be right down there. But this is the kicker, though, guys. If I can mute you, is I said, okay, this guy allegedly wants to pass them. Okay. Well, what time did this guy in this F-150, Ryan Nagel, get a phone call from his sister? Okay. And allegedly, this phone call was at 12 midnight was this phone call. Now, just because you call me at 12 midnight, that doesn't mean, did I leave right away? Did I go? So where does this Ryan Nagel live? Okay. But he gets a call from his sister. She needs a ride. So that's why he goes there. And where I got the 12 midnight is part of the discovery of what they said. And this would mean that you're putting this Ryan Nagel guy in his F-150 truck, literally his movements at the same time at that house to line it up, because you're saying that Karen Reed basically just turned right in front of you. Okay. So I wanted to break down where he lived. Did they get any of his digitals? Did they get his phone records? This Ryan Nagel guy. Go ahead. Oh, and then the kicker is, I don't know if you got to that part yet, that she ended up not needing a ride after all.
We didn't get to that yet.
Okay, here we go.
Interesting, right? Because she called to get the ride, right? So Mr. Nagel stated that the truck stopped directly in front of the driveway to the home and remembered the black SUV stopping along the right-hand curb toward the left side of the property. He remained within the truck while his sister exited the home and asked them to come inside. He declined the invitation, and his sister eventually decided to stay at the home and make other transportation arrangements. As a sister.
So did you guys hear that right there? She calls because she needs a ride. I wonder what the fuck just happened that you may need a ride all of a sudden. But then when your brother gets there, okay, she comes outside talks to him and says, "Do you want to come in?" And he's like, "No, I'm good. I thought you needed a ride." Or was it that he was calling him maybe to bring some drugs over? But you got to just say, "Oh, I'll just say that you came over here not to bring drugs to us, but that I needed a ride." You know what I mean? It's just one of those things like, the fuck? So he comes here to pick her up. Then she decides to say, "Oh, hey, instead of picking me up, do you want to come inside?" The fuck you call me for, girl? I'm sleeping.
Come hang out with everybody.
Yeah, so go on. So
As his sister returned to the house, Mr. Nagel observed the black SUV pull up an approximate 1 to 1.5 car lengths to the far left edge of the home's property, where the flagpole was located along with some bushes. He stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle in park at any point he observed it, as the rear brake lights were illuminated throughout his observations to include the third top center light.
Okay, hold on 1 second. This man was able to give that type of a description of what that vehicle allegedly was doing. Dude, I would have been like, I came here to pick up my sister. Well, do you know what did you see anything? Well, oh yeah, there were cars here. What do you mean? Was there any cars on the side of the road? Yeah, I guess there was. I mean, I think I saw an SUV. Anything about it? Oh my God, yeah, these lights look like they were reversing out of here. The fuck? No. That's a story. Go on.
Mr. Nagel indicated that as his friend pulled away from the side of the road where they were leaving, they drove past the black SUV and he observed the interior light on within the vehicle and a Caucasian female operator seated inside the vehicle holding the steering wheel at 10 and 2, staring straight ahead of her. 10 and 2, guys.
I'm going to see if my Chinese is here. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just keep reading. Later that day, troopers Matthew Dunn and David DeSerio interviewed Miss Carrie Roberts. As Miss Roberts stated to them that at approximately 5 a.m.
Where's my Chinese? Where's my Chinese? I thought we ordered some Chinese in here, man.
It's supposed to be there. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Can I go get some damn
Wait.
Chinese?
I'll tell you in private chat here. I just got an email.
They don't have my wonton soup?
Yeah, probably. Okay, so I know. Okay, so
all right, where were we? Everybody works better with Chinese food.
Everyone works better with food in their tummy, right?
The light was on in her car, but don't know how you would observe that detail. I just light on, light off.
Yes. So, okay. She was staring straight ahead of her, for whatever reason. Later that day, troopers Matthew Dunn and David DeSerio interviewed Miss Carrie Roberts. Miss Roberts stated to them that approximately 5 a.m. she received a call from the defendant stating that John did not come home. It was snowing and she was worried. The defendant further stated to Miss Roberts, John's dead. Carrie, I wonder if he's dead. It's snowing. He got hit by a plow. Miss Roberts got dressed and left in her vehicle, eventually meeting the defendant at Miss McCabe's home, where...
Like, who would even say that? Like, that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry, but go ahead. I don't even believe that, because who the hell would even say that? Like, oh my God, he had to get hit by a plow. Like, of all the ways someone's gonna die, they get hit by a fucking plow.
Well, that's
that
what
doesn't
that
even-
one weirdo is saying on. Okay, so you guys, if you haven't heard the newest thing from this weird, I'm sorry, my opinion only, First Amendment rights, guys. From this weird attorney, she's saying that Miss Reed backed into John. He got knocked on his rear end, and then she hit him again, and that then knocked him out unconscious or whatever. And then the snow plow the next day took him all the way over to the flagpole. I'm like, how is this person an attorney?
Surprised I have that many clients. Fuck shit.
No, that's why she's on Twitter making weird accusations at people. You know who I'm talking about, H-bag. I literally thought I was like
That's
in the
why
Twilight
she's on
Zone.
Twitter. You little twits. All right, go
No,
on.
there's some amazing defense attorneys on Twitter, but or attorneys period on Twitter, but she is not one of them.
All right, where are we at here?
Okay, so shall we continue?
Yep.
Okay,
Let's go.
we're gonna hear this again. My favorite word, women call women. Miss Roberts got dressed and left in her vehicle, eventually meeting the defendant at Miss McCabe's home, where she observed the defendant to be hysterical. Miss Roberts stated that she believed the defendant was still intoxicated in the morning and had told her that she did not remember last night. Miss Roberts reported the defendant as stating to her, "I was so drunk I don't even remember going to your sister's last night," referring to Miss McCabe's sister, the homeowner of 34 Fairview Road. Miss Roberts followed the defendant's black Lexus SUV back to Mr. O'Keefe's house. They went inside the home for a period of time, looking for him, to no avail.
Okay, so there's something I want to bring up because I'm a digital person. Just so you guys know, they had Ring cameras. So they had one on their the front door and then one on their over the garage. And from the night of going out on the 28th at 6 p.m. until 6 a.m., then 1:29, 6 a.m., their Ring system had 15 actions, commands / alerts that happened between that 12-hour period. There was 15 actions. So I think that's going to be interesting for how I break down some of my stuff. Go ahead and continue on. I just wanted to give that tidbit out. 15 actions is not a lot, by the way, in my opinion.
No.
You have a bug that flies by your freaking door, it's going to go off. You know what I mean?
It depends on your setting, but yeah, I mean, it's not that much. Okay. Miss Roberts followed the defendant's black Lexus SUV back to Mr. O'Keefe's house. They went inside the home for a period of time looking for him, to no avail. Miss Roberts then drove her vehicle with Miss McCabe in the front passenger seat and the defendant in the rear passenger side to 34 Fairview Road. She and Miss McCabe were scanning the sides of the road along the drive, looking for the victim, while the defendant periodically screamed and texted on her phone as they drove. Miss Roberts described the weather as whiteout conditions as they were driving around. As they arrived in the area of 34 Fairview, Miss Roberts stated that the defendant screamed, "There he is, I see him," from inside the vehicle and screamed to be let out. Even after initially exiting the vehicle, Miss Roberts stated that she still could not see the victim in the conditions and further stated that his body was covered in snow. She stated that the victim's body was approximately 12 feet from the roadway. She observed him to have a swollen right eye with a laceration above it and blood around his nose and mouth. Miss Roberts stated that they immediately began CPR and Miss McCabe called 911. Miss Roberts stated that she observed the victim to be lying on his back with his arms by his side. She noticed that his right eye was swollen shut and there was blood coming from his nose and mouth. When the paramedics arrived and lifted the victim's body onto the stretcher, Miss Roberts observed the grass underneath the victim's back not covered in snow as the remainder of the area was. The defendant repeatedly asked Miss Roberts, Miss McCabe, and the officers and the paramedics on scene, "Is he dead?" repeating that phraseology numerous times to each. The defendant further grabbed Miss Roberts by the arm at one point and asked her if they were really working on John or was he already dead. In addition, Trooper Bighunik, interviewed Nicholas and Karina Colictheus. Both were present with the group at
What
the
a
water.
name. What a name. I just had
Both
to
are these are I have a little bit of bias here from reading this. So like I don't know, she's just kind of annoying me, but that's just my opinion.
go ahead. You're good.
Sorry, guys, allergies. Okay, both were present with the group at the waterfall on the evening of January 28th. They arrived there at approximately 9 and 9:30 p.m., respectively, as they came in separate cars following their daughter's high school basketball game. They had known the victim for approximately 5 to 6 years and had met the defendant a handful of times. You notice this throughout the written thing. It's like everyone has met Karen Reed a handful of times. It's interesting. I doubt that's the phraseology, with what this guy calls the phraseology, the writer of this, that everyone's saying. You know what I mean? I don't think everyone talks in the same manner. They stated that the victim and the defendant arrived at the waterfall together at approximately 11 p.m., arriving
Okay,
from.
can you hold on there for a second? I want to show you guys something with this bar here. So again, remember I talked about it before in the beginning when I said I think it's interesting that there's 14 minutes that it takes them to get from, let's see, this is Washington. So where are we at here? Okay. Just so you guys can see how this works. Let's spin us around. Did that not go right? Okay. Sorry, I wanted to go this way. All right. Right here. Is where they believe to have parked if you're listening to their version, right here on like the street. And I'll back us out just a tad. So if you left right here, right from here, if you just watch across the street, came right over here, you're back in through here. So it's very, very, these two establishments are really, really close to each other, okay? And so when they left up that night, and they're leaving at 12:10 and 12:11, accordingly to the surveillance cameras, and then they're in these vehicles within just minutes, and off there they go to be seen on these other cameras at 12:15 and 12:17. Why did it take them then 14 minutes to leave out of? Go ahead there, Bella, and pick up where you're reading, because listen to the timestamps here.
Okay, well, so they arrived, this couple that went to their daughter's basketball game. So approximately 11 p.m., arriving from C.F. McCarthy's across the street. That's what Lana was just showing. Mrs. Colakithis spoke for a period with the defendant and observed her to be drinking vodka, soda, cocktails while at the bar. She also recalled the defendant pushing quite a bit for a member of the group, Christopher Albert, the owner of a local pizza shop, to go across the street after leaving the bar to keep partying while he made pies for everyone. When it was time to leave, Mrs. Collect. You see why I don't like? I get a bad. It's just my opinion, guys.
You
I
call
shouldn't
Mrs.
even say
K,
that.
man. Coach K, Mrs. K, it's all the
I
same.
know I should, because I should just call her Miss K. Why is she making my life so hard? Mrs. K indicated that she walked
I
outside.
agree. Some blah says, there you go. Go ahead. Sorry about
Well, it isn't a PCA,
Go
but
ahead.
yeah. Okay.
I would just go ahead.
This is just like a Mrs. McCabe. Okay, so Miss K indicated that she walked outside with Miss McCabe and observed the victim and the defendant to walk out together, which the surveillance isn't going to tell us that, and proceed to the left of the driveway and up Washington Street. We're looking at Washington right now, where
Yeah,
their
this is
vehicle
Washington.
was parked.
This is the waterfall bar and grill right here. So you're walking out these doors right here, okay? So you're walking out, and then this right here, this is Washington, okay? And just right here, building over here, that's your previous
Waterfall?
bar.
Oh, the
Well, that's the
CF.
water. Yeah, CF. Yep. Go ahead.
Um,
So it's like literally like right here. So I want to know what they were doing for 14 minutes when they left out the one bar to get to the other bar. What was going on those 14 minutes? I'm just curious. Proceed with the chlorophyll.
okay. Miss McCabe was observed the victim and the defendant to walk out together and proceed to the left of the driveway and up Washington Street, where their vehicle was parked along the curb, facing back up toward the waterfall. Mrs.
So that's
K.
right here. Go ahead. It's like she's like
Mrs.
they're basically trying to say that it'd be like this area right here. Okay. Okay.
Mrs. K indicated that her vehicle was also parked along Washington Street, but further down and facing the opposite direction. From there, she observed the defendant walking toward the driver's side door of her black Lexus SUV. She further indicated that during the course of her conversation that evening with the defendant complained about the victim's mother and the lack of private time the couple had for vacations because of the children, their activities, and responsibilities. She also described her as fine and did not believe the defendant to be overly intoxicated. Okay, on January 30th, troopers Buckhennick and Proctor interviewed Canton firefighter Katie McLaughlin. She had been assigned to Station 1 on the 29th and indicated that approximately 6 a.m., Canton Fire and EMS had been dispatched to 34 Fairview Road for a male party in the snow and unresponsive. Upon arrival, Miss McLaughlin observed the victim to have trauma to his face and eye area and vomit in his mouth. Remember the vomit, you guys. She observed the victim to be dressed in jeans, socks, and one black Nike sneaker. The victim's shirts were cut and his chest exposed for chest compression. Miss McLaughlin had exited the ambulance to speak with the defendant as to the victim's identity and medical history. The defendant provided the victim's name and date of birth. Miss McLaughlin asked the defendant if she knew.
Can you go back 1 second? Can you repeat what the clothing was again?
Sure. She observed the victim to be dressed in jeans, socks, and one black Nike sneaker. He's obviously wearing shirts because she says, but doesn't describe. The victim's shirts were cut and his chest exposed for chest compressions.
They said cut, not like torn. Cut. His shirt was
Cut
cut.
because yeah, and I mean she's EMT, so I don't know who got there before her, but you know when EMT gets there and they're like sometimes will, maybe it's from that, maybe it's not. Does chat know?
Okay, so no hat, right? No hat.
I love it when I mute myself. No hat is mentioned. Was the hat, Jaymond, was the hat found February 3rd? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. You want me to read on?
Oh yeah.
Are you muted? Oh, okay. Thought we were waiting for. Oh, other sneaker found February 3rd. Okay, good to know.
No, the hat has never been found, guys, just so you know. Go ahead.
H-Bag says that it was found, hat was found, Jaymond says hat was found 2 weeks later. Okay, so.
Where's the hat? So the hat's in evidence? Okay.
Yes, I saw that in chat. They said that the defense wanted to test it for DNA, but the state didn't. The hat was found in photograph, Jaymond says. Okay, good to know. And again, the defense team, Alan Jackson and his team are just amazing at what they're doing. They're pit bulls in there and great litigators. If you missed that in the beginning when we said that.
Mr. Jackson, if you're nasty. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what what's her name, Janet Jackson says? It's Miss Jackson if you're nasty. I'm gonna make a poster that says Mr. Jackson if you're nasty.
He's an amazing litigator. His team's amazing, and
only reason I'm looking into the case. Anything that an extra pair of eyes can see. Right here, I found something I'd like you to read about this orange shirt. That wasn't.
You want me to go to 15?
I believe it's
page
right.
15.
Yeah, right
page
here.
15 is going to be about the orange shirt.
Is it? I believe I have it up right now. It's page 10.
10's not going to have the orange shirt in it.
It says right here. It says the victim's clothing consists. So when the trooper gets there, if you can just start reading, it says I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, which is just complete bullshit.
Okay, what page is that? Is it 15?
Page 10.
Think so.
I'm on page 10.
Are you sure?
100%.
Okay, good. Let's go.
It's on the same page you were reading.
Okay. Oh, you're right. There is the orange shirt. Thought we did this earlier. Okay. Where would you like me to start? The hit him? Miss McLaughlin asked the defendant.
Right here. Following their initial witness interviews on January 29th.
Following their initial witness interviews on January 29th, troopers B and Proctor then proceeded to the Good Samaritan to view the victim. They observed 6 bloodied lacerations varying in length on his right arm. The cuts extended from his forearm to his bicep. Both the victim's eyes were swollen shut and black and blue in color. The troopers observed a cut to the right eyelid area of the victim. The victim's clothing, consisting of blue jeans, an orange t-shirt, long.
Right there, boom. That is 100, not what he is wearing. He does not have an orange t-shirt on in any of those surveillance cameras of him going into those bars. He's wearing gray on gray shirt, gray long sleeve, gray shirt. So when did Mr. O'Keefe put on an orange shirt?
You want me to keep reading?
Orange t-shirt was under thin hoodie?
I think it was. I personally think it was, because where you don't hear about it is on the surveillance cameras that the cops say that he's just wearing a gray, like light gray and gray shirt.
So was he wearing 3 shirts? Or was the shirt he was wearing was just double toned gray? I have I'm just curious. So
I think so too, H-Bag. I think it was under his long sleeve shirt. Jaymon, did you say that
And
the
there was-
hat is now missing?
and there was puke on the orange shirt or just on the.
Well, they wrote it kind of interestingly, right? Do you want to go to that part?
Go ahead. You just keep going.
Jaymon says long sleeve gray, probably thin hoodie and orange t-shirt under.
He was layered up.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue. So they observed 6 bloody lacerations varying in length on his right arm. The cuts extended from his forearm to his bicep. Both of the victim's eyes were swollen, shut, and black and blue in color. The troopers observed a cut to the right eyelid area of the victim. The victim's clothing, consisting of blue jeans and orange t-shirt, long sleeve gray shirt, and boxer shorts, were soaking wet and saturated with blood and vomit. So if you get hit, right, you guys think about getting hit by a car. You are horizontal. How are
I've
your
never-
clothes going to have blood or vomit on them? I mean,
I've
the
never
victim
heard
was,
of-
I've never either. I mean, the victim was also observed to have one black Nike sneaker with a white Nike logo on the side. On January 31st, Dr. Irini Scorti Bello from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. The doctor advised the troopers that she observed several abrasions to the victim's right forearm. 2 swollen black eyes, a small cut above the right eye, a cut to the left side of his nose, an approximately 2-inch laceration to the back right of his head. And you guys, think about getting hit by a car and multiple skull fractures that resulted in bleeding of the brain. Dr. Scorti Bello further advised the troopers that the victim's pancreas was a dark red color, indicating hyperthermia was a contributing factor to his death. This is incredibly sad, you guys. Dr. Scorti Bello opined from her examination that the significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic, as evidenced by hemorrhaging in his pancreas and stomach. Mr. O'Keefe had arrived at the Good Samaritan Medical Center with a body temperature reading in the low 80s. The doctor opined that the extensive injuries to his head likely rendered Mr. O'Keefe incapacitated. At approximately 4:30 p.m. on January 29th, troopers B and Proctor arrived at a residence in Dington, Massachusetts. The home of the defendant's parents. Upon their arrival, they observed a large black Lexus SUV bearing this tag, registered to the defendant, parked outside the garage door in the driveway to the home. The troopers observed the right rear passenger side taillight to be shattered and a large red piece of plastic to be missing from the taillight. The troopers were invited into the home and observed the defendant seated on the living room couch. The defendant agreed to speak with the troopers. Never do this, you guys. Never do this without a lawyer.
Do not talk to if they ask you how your day is, fucking don't even say anything. Get on your phone and act like somebody called you.
It doesn't mean you're guilty. Innocent people, this could happen anywhere.
I mean, shit. Act like you have to go to the bathroom. I'm not even playing. I mean, ugh. I would be like, unless you have a body cam on and you're recording. Still, I wouldn't. Go ahead. No need to.
The defendant indicated to the troopers that she had met the victim at C.F. McCarthy's bar in Canton at approximately 9 p.m. the evening prior. The victim had been there with friends prior to her arrival. She stated that the victim was drinking beers and she was drinking vodka sodas. She described the glassware she was drinking out of as a vase style. The defendant stated that she and the victim left C.F. McCarthy's and went to the waterfall, but denied that she had taken any drink from one bar to the next. She stated that they were at the waterfall for approximately an hour, and during that time, there were no arguments amongst anyone present there. When she and the victim were leaving the waterfall, she stated they were invited to a house on Fairview Road. The defendant stated that she had dropped the victim at the house on Fairview and went home since she was having stomach issues at the previous bar. The defendant stated that she dropped the victim off, then made a 3-point turn in the street and left. She stated
This
that
is something I also want to say is, I'm curious to see these surveillance cameras because they're making it try to seem that this girl is just like completely hammered and she can't even walk or something like that. And shame on you if you're her friend then, and you would just let her drive if she's saying, "Oh my God, I don't even know, what happened that night." Again, those weren't her words though. Those were all other people's. This is the first time she was talked to. Was at approximately 4:30, which we're going to see that there's a big issue with, I guess, that time frame. But is this the first time that she talks to law enforcement? Is that time, right? Everything else that we've been hearing is what these other people are saying that she said. Isn't that correct? You're saying
so far
it's been hearsay until this, right?
So far, it's been all the people that describe her as having met her a handful of times that are responding for her.
Okay.
Okay. So the defendant stated that she dropped the victim off at the house and went home. Then she made a 3-point turn. She stated that she did not see the victim enter the residence.
If I hear another 3-point, okay, so 3-point turn, were those? I believe that would be a cop language versus her language. I've never heard anybody tell me that. Yeah, I mean, I came over to someone's house. When I dropped something off, I know I didn't go that way, so I turned around and I went out that way. Like, I've never ever been in a conversation that I've ever had with anybody where they were like, "Oh, I just did a 3-point turn down there and came back over here." What? I mean, have you, Bella? I mean, do you talk to people like that?
I mean, I'm a car girl though, so I will talk like I made a 3-point turn. I mean, no, but I don't know. It depends. I mean, I turned around. Who knows? I don't know. Gotta catch me in that. You've never said I made a 3-point. I made a 27-point turn. Couldn't find parking. You don't live in LA. It's an
Exactly.
LA
And
thing.
she didn't say that now. If I was a betting woman, there's no way I'm putting money. Just like when she's like, I saw her, she was all clad in black. I would be like, oh, I don't know, she was dressed in all black. Clad in black. Like, that's cop lingo to me.
And Raven Knight makes the point I make is that it isn't a 3-point turn is not going to break that passenger side taillight.
I mean, I just cannot believe that an ME, anybody in the medical field had the audacity to literally that they're going to get up on the stand and say what they are alluding to in these reports. This is just crazy to me that you are a doctor in any type of capacity. How do they have patience? How much do they get paid for this shit?
You guys, right now, in this country, right, we have the Freedom of Information Act, and us to get these records has been a hassle. So they're doing some mess, I'll keep it PG here. They're doing something that they don't want us to see the documents that we are entitled to see. And they're gonna have to we're gonna have to see these documents. I'm sorry. The thing, not everything, we're not entitled to everything, but there are things that the Freedom of Information Act gives us. And
Yep.
yeah, they've been suppressing them while saying,
The
oh,
defense
it's
can't
just a
even get any
glitch.
evidence. I know. It's. I always say, if you got the man or you got the woman and they're so guilty and your case is so solid, I mean, what's the problem? Turn it over. I just think they're asking for appeal issues down the road, even if this was to go south, which I don't see it going south, because
I don't even understand right now. I'm not even understanding what's going on.
how can a jury of our peers, like, you guys may try to like pull this off, but how are they going to be able to obtain and corrupt the jury? That's like, come on, people. How do you get 12 people to literally sit here and listen to this shit and say, yep, I'm going guilty? I mean, what are you paying me like $16 million? You get what I'm
I
trying
don't
to
even
say?
understand that there's proof out there.
You know how much money she's probably already spent to this point?
Oh my gosh, a lot. But her defense attorneys are so amazing in advocating for her. And she's in such good hands with them. They're advocating for her money. Like, she's spending all this money. What are you guys doing? Like, let's try to save her some money. Like, what? Like, they're just pit bulls.
I think they have some funds and stuff like that. So the next live I do on it, we'll share some of those links, because I believe that Karen Read's being set up. I believe it was a setup after the fact too. Like, it wasn't like, because my question was, how did they know that Karen wasn't going to get out of the car and go inside and like hang out and party? Does that make sense? So like the whole like luring over thing, to say, well, we lured him over, like, was it designed that they were going to be like, hey, we always box in our basement, and they got like playing, like throwing their dicks out on the table at the bar. And we're like, okay, yeah, no, I'll take him on, man. He's a pussy. I can take him. You know what I mean? And then they're having like a fight at the house. And it led to going way south when somebody got, I mean, I don't know how something like that seems like somebody got jumped by multiple people. And then I think those marks, I think they look like an animal attack.
100%. A large dog attack.
And then there's no, like, did they come back with anything on his ribs? You know, if you're a boxer, like, are you kicking at like their ribs and stuff? And if you get hit by a car, you have to hit somebody's legs first. I mean, what are they doing? Dangling upside down like a bat in the trees, and that's how you hit them? How is there no lower, you know what I mean? How is there no lower level
injuries? Breaks. He's not going to land on his butt and just sit there, and then she's going to run him over.
If you try to run me over, don't you think I'm going to like run around and be like screaming? Think about that.
All right here, you guys. It's all right here. Like, he got punched. Then he fell. I don't think they necessarily, in my opinion, only meant to kill him. I think he fell. He hit his head. Well, after getting attacked by the dog, who was not the dog's fault, just trying to protect his owner. It's the owner's fault for having the dog there. And then, like, obviously, like, well, the defense has made this. He put up his right arm, his, dominant arm to protect himself from the dog, as he's also getting beat by this guy. And
sorry. But wait, just think about this, guys. Let's say that their version is like true. You think a grown-ass man and John is just going to let this broad come and drive a car at him, and he's not going to try to get out of the way or scream about it? Or, I mean,
scream about it.
Like, I don't know, like, if they're all over there by the window watching and shit, right? You don't see some. I'll tell you a funny story. Me and my mom go to the grocery store when I was little, and this woman goes and grabs a cart, like, to push her groceries in. She goes and grabs a cart, not to go push her groceries. She goes and takes it up to somebody's car, and she just starts ramming it into somebody's car. And I'm like, oh my God. My mom had to go and testify to that crap. And I was over there like,
how old were you?
I was young, and I was just like, oh my God. Like,
you're like, why is this lady crazy right now?
Yeah. Well, the guy cut her off and some crazy crap. But point of the matter is that if that guy would have actually been in his car when some lady's going to come and try to like bring a cart at you, you're going to try to move. Same thing if you're going to try to come and run me over, I'm just going to stand there and be like,
just sitting there waiting for it. No,
know?
but you guys, where are the injuries here, right? And then the vomit. Think about his clothes being soaked with vomit. If you get hit by a car
Blood, vomit,
and you
vomit,
go down,
vomit.
you are horizontal. How are you getting? I mean, this isn't even like sleuthing. Like, this is like sleuthing 101. Like, anybody can know looking at this. I just think that they didn't mean to kill him. He hit his
What?
head.
What? I don't know. I back up on that. Mean to kill him.
I don't know. They're just
Mean to kill him. I don't think that's when you dump somebody off on the side of the road, okay, in that type of weather. Clearly, he wasn't, because we're going to get further into this, but clearly that ass beating that he took from multiple people did not happen right there. That happened somewhere else, right? So that's a secondary location.
yes.
And so to me, that is with intent. You know, what you said, what's going on here.
Yeah. I do think when he hit his head, they were just like, just put this guy outside. And then, so we know from the defense that his devices have shown that he climbed 3 sets of stairs. And there's 3 sets of stairs in that house. So explain to me how he never entered that house, but it shows that he climbed 3 sets of stairs.
I have a question because I know that she Googled this, and I know that we're going to get further into it because it gets good here, but we're going to come up to this. So continue us out here because I want to start getting into the breakdown of this timeline.
All right. And I was there. The defendant started. Okay, let me just get back into the device. Are we in?
Oh, do you need me to rewind that or put that down? I just look at it like the juror members are going to be like just. I don't know how any of this could make sense to them being sold by what the prosecution is going to possibly say versus.
Why be so nosy? Yeah, she's gonna. I don't know if it's like, but she says the medical examiner does say something in this as to, I want to send you those pictures too. So while you're talking next, I'll email them to you. Okay. The defendant indicated that she first observed the broken taillight in the morning and did not know how she had broken it the previous evening. And now we have video of how it was broken. Not by hitting him.
Which I think you could tell that she backs into his car. But I think what people aren't paying attention to is pay attention to his vehicle. How much snow is on his car at that time? And nobody's talking about that. And I'm going to talk about that because I want to talk about how much snow. His car is parked outside. So his car should have just started getting piled up with all this snow. And when we actually look at this video, that's the first thing I noticed. I said, his car, it should be covered. When you are getting a storm like that and you're talking about mounds of, you guys know when you go out to your car and you got to scrape all that shit off and brush it all off. I mean, it should be, and I don't see that. I don't see that in that video. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that was a great observation.
Meaning that helps Karen because they want to say, how did she see that body? It was just so crazy outside.
Absolutely. Okay, so the victim was uninjured when she dropped him off at the house, however. When she discovered him the next morning, she observed him lying face up, snow on his legs, his eyes swollen, and blood coming from his nose and mouth. She stated that she began providing him mouth to mouth. The defendant further stated that she had attempted to contact the victim throughout the night, calling and texting him numerous times with no response. I love that the state says she texted him 29 times. Yeah, that's what you do when you're worried about somebody. What else would you do? She stated that they had a verbal argument that morning over what the defendant fed the victim's niece for breakfast. The black Lexus SUV was seized from the driveway of the defendant's parents' home in Dingdon on January 29th as well. Don't come for me, Massachusetts. I probably said that wrong. The vehicle was then transported via tow to the Canton Police Department. On February 1st, members of the Massachusetts State Police Crime Scene Service Section, a crime lab chemist, and Trooper Joseph Paul of the Massachusetts State Police Collision Analysis and Reconstruction Section, CARS, responded to the department. They observed fragments of broken glass on the rear bumper of the vehicle. The rear right passenger side taillight was shattered and pieces were observed missing from the red and clear areas. On the right side of the rear tailgate, a deep scratch and minor dent were observed. On the right side of the rear bumper, above a small red light, 2 scratches were observed in one area where the paint was chipped off. Troopers from the CARS unit performed a rapid acceleration forward and reverse test with the vehicle and noted no deficiencies with the vehicle's braking systems or other operations.
Wait, that's when did they perform that test? Like, who's like, let's test this car to make sure that it can like accelerate and ram somebody? I mean, who that test may come, y'all, but that ain't coming on no February 1st. Like,
Thank
what?
you, Kathy.
Like, I think the car can rev up. That's just wild to me that we went ahead and did this right away. Make sure that.
Okay, so they did that. They did a bunch of other things that I just don't think at this point even matter because we found out what happened to the taillight. But okay. Forward and reverse tested the vehicle and noted no deficiencies in the vehicle's braking system or other operations, so it works fine. The troopers placed a training figure resembling a human. Wonder what that looked like.
Their point with this is, in my opinion, was to be like, okay, this wasn't done by accident.
Right, everything was going off, right?
So
but now we know.
So think about this, guys. Think about this. This is the only thing that I just think that that's important. That it's like the most important thing. If you want to get away with something, right? The best way to get away with something, if you want to commit murder and get away with it, is to never have that murder be solved versus trying to, go and wrongfully accuse somebody and then get them convicted. Because what now this age and day, you're going to have people like me, you're going to have other people that are like me, and they're going to look into stuff and versus just a case being ruled here. This was an accident, this was an accident. But these guys were adamant to say, we're not going to have this be labeled an accident. Because if you want to get those people off the hook, if that's one thing you're caring about, is to say that this was an accident, that a plow truck hit him. We don't know which plow, or somebody came by and hit him. It was a hit and run. But if you do it that way, you wouldn't even have Karen Reed and her army going and having any of this. Okay. So you'd be labeling it in that type of capacity, I would think, and you're not going to then have all these eyes on you of what truly took place, unless people start getting autopsies and they start talking about it, and that's not really happened, things like that. But that's not going to come until way down later down the road, where that's going to come out from the family of John. Then, when they're like, this isn't. A plow didn't do this, but they would be from them saying that that's not the case, and versus when you want to go after, you're going to go after a woman, and you're going to frame a woman, and you don't think in 2023 that you're going to have every advocate out there for her, because she didn't do it, right? So you don't think that people are going to see this bullshit. And y'all could have did you guys get greedy? Like, why do you need Karen Reed away? That's what I'm thinking here, is that you need Karen Reed to be gone. What does Karen Reed know? That's where my head goes with why you had to set this woman up. But then I realized that how dumb are these police officers? Like, you guys aren't really that smart, are you? I'm curious how far they went educationally, but hey, I'm going to talk to whoever I know, and hey, just Make this go away, not go frame fucking Karen Reed. Because that's going to make it, I think that's just going to be harder. And then all this other stuff would have came out. And I think that you had a chance to not have that come out if you're going to be talking about this corruption and setting up, because I think what's worse is obviously John, he's not here with us anymore. But they always say, I'd rather have 10, guilty people go than have one innocent person be, in prison for the rest of their life. So I think that's the hardest pill to swallow here, is that none of this was necessary to do to Karen Reed. But they felt it was necessary. And that is what should worry every single American, is that the people that are doing this, these aren't civilians doing this. These are people in power positions doing this. And that's what should, I don't care if you hate Karen Reed, I don't care if you love Karen Reed. Do you care about yourself? Because if you care about yourself,
about the Constitution.
Yeah, if you care about yourself, you have a problem with this. You have a huge fucking problem with this. And I think that that's truly the way that this should be looked at, because you could be Karen Reed. Like if I got a shirt, that's what it would say is, you could be Karen Reed. I could be Karen. That could be your daughter, your sister. Anybody could be in a situation. This could happen to anybody. What's happening here? This is not some black male in this 23 that was targeted. I mean, this is an educated white woman that they were like, we're gonna go and we're gonna try to do this. And I think that's, you had some fucking balls. And I know that we're true to transparency. We have an army here, and we're behind Karen Reed and her efforts to show that she is 100% didn't do this. And can you imagine if Karen Reed couldn't have the type of representation that she has right now?
If you couldn't afford it, if, you didn't, I mean, what are you supposed to do? And that's what, is a travesty. But even horrible for Karen Reed, it's horrible for John O'Keefe's family. And you guys will hear about these kids, if you haven't already, who he was taking care of, who have already lost their parents, and he was taking care of them. And now again,
like he stepped up and was like amazing.
And it's all just unnecessary.
They did this to one of their own. They did this to one of their own. You guys understand that?
And instead of stepping up and being a man and saying this happened, or calling the ambulance or calling 911 and taking whatever lickings you needed to take for what you did, if you lost your temper, or if someone annoyed you, or if it was an accident, whatever. Instead of doing that and doing right by this man, John O'Keefe, you have now perpetuated and victimized more people. And that is not what we do in this country. Go ahead and do that in any other country. Sure, they're known for it. But if anybody has lived in another country where you are oppressed and you don't even understand the rights that you have here and appreciate them, it's a really big deal, these rights we have. And we need to protect them. We need to protect our Constitution. It's really important. And I think that
if these people thought that they were so, connected and protected and all that stuff, then it should have been no big thing to make sure that this guy lived, right? Just take him to the hospital.
Absolutely.
And they're going to cover for you. Even if he's, all mangled and stuff like that. That's how connected and protected you are. So just make sure that he doesn't die, right? Like that's
exactly.
That's kind
even drop him off.
Yeah, that's what
drug addicts even act better than that sometimes, right? Like they'll have someone OD in their house and they'll be like, "Oh my God, let me drop this person off anonymously." Whatever. You guys are connected cops that you did this to a fellow brother in blue, and his family deserves better. These kids deserve. I mean, when I got to the part about the kids,
and Massachusetts deserves better, man. Boston, I wouldn't want any of these people pulling me over, being anywhere near me.
Yeah, I mean, and Jay Mansfield's right. It could have been any one of us.
It's not even just the cops. anybody that's going to be testifying in some type of manner that didn't happen. So, this, I'm sorry, but I think that who takes the cake here, in my opinion, is the medical expert that's going to get up on that stand and try to pass it the way that they're passing it here. I don't even have words for you. I'm sure Turtle Boy does, though.
No, that medical examiner to get and to say it is my opinion that he was hit by a car. I don't have the right words. We'll read
I
it
would
later.
love to see Scott Roeder do a crime scene reenactment with this.
Scott Roeder is an amazing person to do it, and yeah, the defense should hit him up to do it. But I mean, this is literally, you guys, his injuries were on his face, and he had vomit and blood soaking his clothes. I mean, come on. Hello. Are we like, what is happening?
You have black eyes. You got blood around your mouth. I mean,
that's what the medical examiner said.
Yeah, let's go to that.
By getting hit by a car. You guys, her going down, when the cops go and get the video footage later on in this, and I don't know if we're going to read that or not, when they get the temple and the library video footage and they're clocking, what time she gets somewhere, she's basically on a main street going 30 miles an hour. Do you think she just revved her engine in this driveway and just plowed into him? Come on. I mean, like, how stupid does Canton think everybody is? This is how stupid does Wendy, in my opinion, Wendy, do not try to sue me because you're a lawyer. It's my opinion. I can say it. How stupid does Wendy think we are? He got dragged by a plow after she backed into him, and then he was just sitting there, and then she backed into him again, and then a plow took him to the flagpole. Are you crazy, woman?
How about this, Wendy? I am so confident that I don't need a dummy test to do that, and I'll let that happen to myself, and we'll see what the fuck happens.
What?
We'll take out the test here. We're not even going to use a dummy. I'll use myself here because that's how confident I am, Wendy, that whatever the hell you're talking about, no one's going to buy that. So there you go, Wendy.
Oh, that's right. Look at what J-Rock did call us all stupid. J-Rock, Wendy did. She said that anybody who doesn't see it her way is stupid.
Wendy, then have some cahoons. Come on here. I will argue all day with you with this. I would love for her to I just want to hear her answers to my questions. I don't want to hear
anything Wendy has to say. They muted her on another show, and
also listen to here's your jury pool, Wendy. How would you sell this to your jury pool?
She told us how she would do it. He was hit. She backed into him. He fell on his butt. Then she backed into him again, and he was rendered, unconscious. And then a snow plow came by later and dragged him to the flagpole.
But wait, but don't we have an emerging witness that's going to come up and say, yo, I was the plow guy and I didn't see nobody. That's really going to go over well for you, Wendy.
Keep talking so I can send this to you. I'm going to email this stuff to you, so handle it.
Welcome to Truth and Transparency now. Well, what I want to talk about is I'm all about digital evidence, the forensic end of it. Give me a discovery and I'll put it all together for you. And right now they're just trying to limit us with that. So I'm going to take my happy ass down over to Boston. So if you guys want to have a live over there, I think I'll just go live from the waterfall.
I go to Boston any day, but I'm not going to Canton, which is 45 minutes away.
Yeah, I saw the Bloody Knuckles. Definitely looking into that. Something that truly, truly interests me is did John witness something there? Was he coming there to just, maybe, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to know the conversations, to hear what Karen would be saying, what type of conversations that he was having with other people that night.
Yes,
they don't know anybody over there except for some girl, right? That girl. I'm sorry. I have questions on who actually took John over there that night. I'm still not sold on the fact that, um, in terms of like
H-bag. Read what H-bag just wrote. Okay, did not know that H-bag.
30-minute out Boston. Wait, what?
John called CPD about Colin dealing drugs. I'll send you a picture of Colin if you don't.
And he just walked
With
away
his
from-
knuckles all messed up right after.
Yeah, Turtle Boy
murder.
found the snowplow driver. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, I love boots on the ground, man. I watched Turtle Boy stuff. I put it out there. I plugged his stuff because I love when you see somebody that you can get behind that actually like puts the work in and not just playing mainstream fucking media. Are you kidding me? They have an agenda, ladies and gentlemen. They are in business for a reason. Karen took him over there. I guess let me rephrase that. When Karen would have left, did he go right inside? Because why is Jen relatively quickly saying hello, hello, hello? I mean, that looks pretty staged, but she couldn't find him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't she call his phone? How quickly was this like ass beat down? And then how did you think? What if Karen would have went into the house? What if they would have stayed? So was it like a known thing that she was just going to be dropping him off? Was that known? Did the people at the waterfall know that she's only just bringing him there and she's not going to stay? Did they know that? That's, this is all about drugs. That's exactly what I said it was about. I believe that. I think that the brother going over there and not bringing home the sister, and then, I'm just going to ride home with Jen and her husband.
So for the, I just
Colin
emailed Elo.
and John saw each other. It was that quick, you think?
I just sent Elo, if you haven't seen Colin's pictures that he posted to IG. His IG is now totally gone. I just sent it. I just emailed that to you. His knuckles, it's right after the murder. His knuckles are messed up.
Or did you send that over?
You check your email. Also, you guys, trigger warning if mods are here. I know I just saw Mike drop in love.
Hi, baby girl.
Please drop like a trigger warning for people that are sensitive. I
The
also
bloody
sent you
knuckles.
some of the autopsy photos. If anyone hasn't seen these, if you're sensitive to anything like this, maybe you just want to like listen to our voices and not watch the screen. These are pretty graphic if we decide to show them.
I'm going to show you the bloody knuckles first.
The what now?
Bloody knuckles.
Okay, Colin. Yeah. So I guess we will warn you.
So
Zoom on in.
right there.
Zoom in.
That's as good as it's going to get here.
Oh shoot! I could zoom in. I guess.
So
This picture was taken and posted to his IG to this. Good. Thank you, Boston. Yes, trigger warning, guys, because we're going to be coming up on some photos. So this was posted
I
to
can't
his
believe
IG.
that Bella's calling us a trigger warning. I'm laughing over here like.
Stop it. You know how proper I am on YouTube. Okay, so this is you see his knuckles there, you guys. This was posted right after Mr. O'Keefe's murder. His IG it's on his IG. It is now deleted.
Didn't he delete his socials?
Well, he has deleted. I can't find his socials, but yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Please step
I can't
away
find this IG.
Of bloody nature, etc. are triggering. Jeez.
Thank you, Mike Droppin. Sorry, guys. Like, I just have to be really proper.
You guys are totally
I don't know
making
how many.
my channel P-ville now. I'm just kidding, guys. All right, so let's go into right here.
Sorry, I'm really proper, you guys.
Properly fun.
When I want to be.
And so when
Don't
was that?
talk about
Then that was a couple days after, correct?
Right, Tina. I also heard he wasn't questioned. I don't have confirmation on that. Alan Jackson won't let her go down
Oh,
for
yeah.
this. He won't.
He won't. 100. Yep, 100.
I know. See, so like when you see a defense attorney saying, I have an innocent client,
Like,
and
that's
you have a defense attorney that's that much of a bulldog when it comes to litigation, you can't ask for anything better. Oh, it was on Visco because what I have like the full thing and it's a complete IG. So I don't know if someone with his name. It doesn't look like a Visco post, but maybe. I don't have
All right, so
Visco.
I'm gonna share these.
Okay,
Ready?
so this is a trigger. Share her car first.
Yeah.
Maybe. Then we could hit the trigger warning on YouTube. Okay, trigger warning. Sorry. This is her. Okay, so you guys, tell me this is from getting hit by a vehicle, please. And we're gonna go to his arm.
Like, look at these bruises on down here by his, like, you see that? And then this is from,
Go ahead and scroll down. We're gonna see his hands. Look at those bruises, guys.
does he have any type of, on his knuckles or anything?
These all look defensive to me.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I agree with you, H-Bag. Yes, his shoulder does look dislocated to me as well. Do you see that bloating right there in the lower right-hand
here.
corner? Yes.
Like, what's that? Like, that is interesting. This is
Those are not, those are cool, you guys.
This is,
If I could show you my dog bites, those are dog bites.
you know what? Look at this. Doesn't it look like a kneecap right there? Like, if you're looking, you know, if you weren't paying attention, like, that is so, what is that?
What is it? Is it fluid from, post-mortem? Is it a dislocated something? What is that?
Is he left-handed?
I don't believe so because I believe it's his dominant hand that he's holding up. Also, he was holding the glass, if you remember, in his right hand.
His right hand. Over there is his right. See that over there? His right hand's down on the ground. Like, is that looks like his right hand's over there. This looks like his left hand.
Yes, I believe he's right-handed. Yes. Mama Hen, I do believe that they had, in most injuries, they do have to cut around it to photograph it like that. And I do believe they did shave his head for that.
Why did someone twist his arm behind his back? Yeah.
Great idea. Why be so nosy? H-Bag's a nurse. Let us know what you think. Yes, Thomas. And yes, I do believe, Jason, I do believe he's right-handed. The way that they say that he was holding his drink, the glass when he walked around was right-handed. I also believe that he put up his dominant hand, which is his dominant arm, which is his right arm, to protect him against the dog
when
bite.
you put somebody in an arm bar, that would be the injury. Yep, I agree. Does the bruise on his hand look like a paw print to anyone else? Let's take a look.
Bruise on his hand look like a paw print. Let's go look at it.
Yeah, right here.
Interesting.
Yep.
It kind of does, but it also flows with the bone structure of the hand. So if you notice what it's doing, so it looks like he was using it for, like, to hold it up.
Who took these pictures? What a shitty job.
It looks like he was holding it up.
Wait, is that bruising right there in that? Like, what is this right here along the back, or is that just
I don't know.
Dark spot?
I think it's just dark, a dark spot. And unfortunately, when we pass away,
okay, so these
most
pictures were taken on 131. So they weren't taken on 129. Then you have 30. So I have a question then. I thought that did they keep him on until like, did they keep him on like any type of machine?
That's what it looks like to me, H-bag. It looks like lividity to me too on his back. Because he was lying on his back.
Yeah, it was lights out after the head wounds, no doubt. I think those came last.
When there's, I mean, H-bag can tell us more about this, but if there's blood still flowing, to the heart, when you get an injury, it will bleed. If most of us in true crime do know that, but in case you don't, so if there's blood present, it means your heart was still bleeding. I mean, to make it simple for everybody. But look at him, please. I'm sorry to say that, but this is not a. Explain to me where his ribs are broken. Explain to me where his kneecaps are broken. Explain to me how his legs are broken from getting hit by
Yeah, he should be
vehicle.
mangled in some type of like either like your ankle should be messed up from this, your kneecap, your hip, your ribs, any type of even like your pelvic. You know what I mean? Like you could shell your pelvic. Like I don't know. Like a car doesn't fly at you from at the face.
She's in a driveway, you guys. The lady, Miss Reed, was going 30 miles an hour down a main street, you guys. As it's noted, if you do the math, as it's noted by what they say they see on video. While we look at this,
What do you guys think that mark is from the what type of weapon do you think?
I think he hit it looks like he hit a rock or he hit the end of a table or the stairs or something. He went down.
So basically when he got hit, the way he fell into something, right?
Absolutely. Look, if you there's a button, and every boxer, everybody that does any kind of martial arts knows there's a button. We have a few on our face, right? So if you punch somebody in that button, it's usually around here, you will knock them out. When you're in a ring, it's soft and like it's not pretty, but it's soft. If you're near stairs or near a table or anything, you guys have heard about like the one punch knockout kill that you could just go to, he didn't die at that moment. The medical examiner says, according to her, he died of hypothermia. Yes, Kay Baker, I believe that.
I think that what the head is from when
that's what it looks like to me. I don't think he was hit. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion.
I think he was hit all on his, he was clearly trying to defend himself. The dog could have possibly, when the dog comes, the dog powered him, and then he went back, and that could have been the final blow with that. I think that's the last thing right there. And then if somebody gets on top of you and starts,
absolutely. I think that's what scared them. I think that when he hit his head and went lights out, but he was still alive, it scared them and they moved him out. That's not, according to the medical examiner, what killed him, right? So the hypothermia, that rendered him unconscious, and according to her, and the hypothermia killed him, okay? My dog right here, if anyone were right now to come to me, he's docile, sleeping. If you were to come and try to hit me or enter my house, he will bite you. 100%. He will attack you. He'll go for your throat. He's not vicious, but that's what he does.
And this is where that Colin kid lived. Like, then they I want you to finish out the
Okay, we'll do that.
Blunt force trauma from a dumbbell. Yes. I'm down on that one. That's the end of a dumbbell. That's interesting.
I just don't see the type of bruising around that from like a dumbbell, but I could be wrong.
I wish that I could see the bottom of his neck here to see. Well, if it was
it's interesting we don't have that picture, huh? Maybe we'll get it. You guys, we will hopefully be getting more documents. We are in the pursuit, as you guys know, of justice, and that means for everybody. The dog was, what kind of dog do I have? The Rhodesian Ridgebacks are my favorite breed. They're big dogs. Okay, so we will hopefully be getting more.
We will.
Show the car while I find my place.
Show the car.
the car.
I can make that happen. Yeah, because I wanted to keep this right around 2 hours, so we're getting right over top of that. So I wanted to finish out this document, and then
She knows that's my favorite word, she says. So she's trying to be special. So this is supposedly her car. I think it is, whatever.
this is not. Wait, what? You think this is her car?
It's supposed to be her
Oh
car.
yeah, it's right there. That piece is missing right there.
Yes.
But it should be the whole. It should be like just for that the whole thing to be out. That's like too perfectly done. I don't know. That's just weird. I
No,
wanna
and
see-
we
they said
see
they said they found particles and stuff other places. That looks like it's a perfectly taken out piece.
how it happens, you guys, and it's not from hitting him. And now we know this. Why does the state not drop this case? It is ridiculous.
They clearly have a huge budget and they want to blow some money. I don't know.
I would be upset if I lived in Canton. I'd be upset. Look, I live in
Read it,
California,
read
you guys.
it,
We get
read it.
taxed enough here. Massachusetts, I hear you guys get taxed. At least there's no tax on clothes there, but you guys get taxed enough. This would be ridiculous. Knock it off. Move on. Find the real killer. Bring justice to the O'Keefe family. If we can get in, Lana, the thing that really bothers me.
I want to move on to the.
Where would you like to go? To January 31st? Okay, here we go.
I have the document. You want me to put it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading it, but what page would you like me to do it on? 14 is where we left off.
Yeah, right where we left off. I'm gonna finish this off.
Okay. On January 31st, investigators observed video from the Ring cameras affixed to 1 Meadows Avenue, which is O'Keefe's house. The residence of Mr. O'Keefe. The video was observed by utilizing the Ring application on the victim's cell phone. The data in the application showed that 2 cameras are connected on the victim's account under his email. The 2 cameras cover the front door and the driveway to the home. From 6 p.m. on January 28th through 6 a.m. on January 29th, the Ring application showed approximately 15 events between the 2 cameras at the residence. Investigators observed on the Ring video from the driveway camera the defendant's SUV leaving the right garage door and traveling out of the driveway onto Meadows Avenue and turning left onto Pleasant Street at approximately 5:08 a.m. Such nice names, right? Meadows, Pleasant. Investigators were not able to locate any Ring video of the same SUV arriving, you guys. Arriving.
Right here. Check this out. Okay, so here people are paying attention.
Show us one.
This is the
Meadows.
house that's right here on the end. This is the house that's right here on the end. Okay, there's your camera. Now it's right here on the end, so go like this. You would turn, going into here. That's your house there. Let me get out of here. Come back down. And then I'll put you in front of the house. Okay, so you have a Ring camera here at the front door. All right. And then that day you had his SUV. That was something that was interesting to me, is that his SUV was parked right here. Yeah, was parked right here. And then hers was parked in the garage, but his was parked outside. Okay. So they had a Ring camera right there, and they were able to see this when she pulled out, that she actually hit his car when she pulled out at that 4 o'clock. What time did she 4:08? What time did she leave? 4 what?
When she left 5:08 a.m.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and read. Go ahead.
Investigators were not able to locate Ring video of the same SUV arriving at the home prior to that. The victim's Chevrolet Traverse SUV was parked on the far right corner of the driveway as the defendant's SUV exited in reverse from the garage. Coming close to the victim's SUV, as the defendant's vehicle exits the driveway, the troopers observed her right passenger side taillight to be broken. On February 3rd, Trooper Evan Brandt from Crime Scene Services arrived with Trooper Proctor at the home and documented all sides of the
Okay, so
traverse and the
basically when
garage
she had
door.
backed out, you can see that she had hit the car on the video. But something that needs to be talked about is they have no, and this happens sometimes with your ring, but there's no ring camera footage of her coming home that night with that SUV.
Yeah, no footage of her coming home. I mean, rings do kind of start when their motion sensor sets them off, but to not have any,
Is there a
the
I'm curious
garage
to know,
going up, her
I'm,
pulling, like, I don't get it.
I'm curious to know if these 15 alerts. I'm curious to know, do they alert? Like
I
I have my
agree.
when I would open up my door for my house, it would be like, you know, it it beep and then it would say, front door open.
Right. Well, yeah. It tells you, like, with a ring system, it just tells you, like, it'll beep and tell you someone passed by it. Depends on your sensitivity. But a garage door going up and someone arriving, there should be something there. Yeah, Reflectionist Diaries. If you didn't catch it earlier, it was very hard for us to get any of the FOIA requests from the DA. Okay, so no damage was observed anywhere on either side of the vehicle or the doors. On February 1st, troopers B and Keith traveled to CF McCarthy's bar and spoke with the manager of the bar. They reviewed and secured video from inside the establishment from January 28th and receipts. From the interior surveillance video, the troopers observed Mr. O'Keefe walk into the establishment wearing jeans, black Nike sneakers, a gray and dark gray long sleeve shirt, and dark baseball hat with an American flag on the front. At approximately 7:37 p.m., along with his friend Michael Camarino, approximately an hour later at 8:51 p.m., the defendant enters the bar wearing a black jacket, black boots, black pants, and handbag, small purse, with a white shirt underneath her jacket. 7 minutes later, at approximately 8:58 p.m., the bartender hands the defendant a tall cylinder-style glass containing a clear liquid with a lime in it. Approximately at 9:15 p.m., the victim hands the defendant a cylinder-style glass with a clear liquid and lime in it. At the following times, the troopers observed the video of the defendant receiving a shot glass with a clear liquid in it, which she subsequently pours into her cylinder glass at 9:20, 9:33, 10:22, and 10:29 p.m. At approximately 9:57 p.m., the bartender is observed handing the defendant a tall cylinder-style glass with a clear liquid in it and a shot glass with a clear liquid in it, for a total of 7 drinks the defendant receives and consumes during her time at this bar. At approximately 10:40 p.m., the victim and the defendant are observed leaving the bar with the defendant holding her last drink in her right hand as they exit. Also, February 1st, troopers traveled to the Waterfall Bar and reviewed and secured both interior and exterior surveillance camera footage, as well as receipts from that establishment as well. From the interior camera, the troopers observed the victim and defendant enter the bar at approximately 10:54 p.m. The defendant was observed
That's what I'm
grabbing the
talking about right there. You see right here? You guys, it takes them 14 minutes to get over to that bar, to get into the water. And when they leave, though, to get back to by where the car was, it takes just minutes. That's I'm curious, that 14 minutes, what was going on? Go on. So did they ever take any surveillance from like any of the surrounding bars over there to see where if they could pick them up on camera to see what was going on between those 14 minutes?
It would be interesting to find out if they got any surveillance. Where was this pizza place that they were saying?
Is that who Turtle Boy talks about, like chicken parm? Somebody, chicken parm Charlie? Is that who that is?
I don't know, but I'm hungry, so don't even mention chicken.
I know. Where's my food at, man?
I'm telling you, they like mess up. We gotta get done so we can get food.
Yeah,
okay.
finish it out. Again, this is Truth and Transparency. If you guys are enjoying it, go ahead and thumbs it up. If it's not your cup of tea, thumbs it down. If you have an opinion, make it known. We're gonna finish up this document. It's almost done, and then we will release the other two. I'll put them in my community post as well. But this is a case that we're gonna be following, and we're gonna try to make some noise.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll get more. We're working on that, and just fighting for justice. And in our opinion, and I think a lot of people's, Karen Reed didn't do this.
There was a witness, like 89. He listened to noise of fight. Guess what? He died. Oh my God. They weren't able to depose him before then. Oh.
This case isn't extremely tragic. If we don't get to that part here, maybe Lana could put it up. But these kids that Mr. O'Keefe took care of, that's the worst part for me. I'm sorry. What they have to go through. I just can't even imagine. Okay, so moving on. Moments later, the victim, at approximately 12:10, the defendant walks out with two females, leaving through the front door. Moments later, the victim, standing alone at the table, takes a sip from the short cocktail glass and walks out the front door, holding the glass in his right hand. From the exterior camera, the troopers observed the victim walk out at approximately 12:11 a.m. If you remember, 12:14 is when he supposedly gets in touch with Miss McCabe, carrying a short cocktail glass in his right hand. Again, right, so I think he's dominant with his right hand. Meet up with the defendant, and then the two walk together toward Washington Street. The trooper also observed from the exterior camera that it appeared to have just begun snowing with the light coating on the ground and cars within the parking lot. Do you want me to skip to a part, or do you want me to just continue on February 2nd?
I think we're going to pick up on February 2nd.
Okay, February 2nd, troopers done and
no, we're going to just pick up on that the next time.
So we'll stop.
Okay. Yep.
Yes, because we're hungry.
Yeah, no, I wanted to keep it right around 2 hours, and it went over 17 minutes. So, but I want to say thank you so much, Bella, for coming on here and being the voice.
Appreciate you.
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason. The one who will say trigger warning.
Do you think that D and E Pizza will hook me up all the way out here?
Do I think who will what?
D and E Pizza. No.
Yeah, I'll try to send a pizza. I don't know. Let me get off and then get you some food. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you,
Again,
Lana. Thank you, Mods.
Thank you guys so much. Bella has where she reads books on her YouTube channel. It's called can you just drop your link in chat? It's called
I don't know my link.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Bella. Thank you, Mods. Thank you, members. Thank you guys for participating. You guys taught us a lot, and fight always for justice. It's worth it. And we'll catch you guys later. I'm leaving. I'm getting your food. Bye.
Bye. Again, you guys are great. Truth and Transparency. We'll be picking up on February 2nd. Until then, again, Mods, love you guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like break brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.
This November 29th, 4 people that were murdered, and you want to fuck around. You got 8 families that are being affected by this, and they just mean nobody from the university.
Shock value. And so what he did was he had taken pictures of California.
Oh, you're first. I would be outraged if I lived in Moscow right now.
I'd be outraged if I lived in
lighting
Canada
some
right
cars on
now.
fire out there. I'd be flipping some cars. I'd get the frats going wild with me. Let's get some noise complaints going.